Hello guys, it is Gate of Theories here, and Turning Red has just came out today and I am already loving it. However, there was just one thing that was bugging me throughout it, and it was I feel like I've seen Meilin before somewhere. And then it clicked. What if Meilin was actually who 22 becomes at the end of Soul? And then I started digging more into this and it actually makes so much sense. I can't wait to share it with you guys. Let's get into it. But before we go any further, please make sure that you've clicked that red subscribe button down below and have your notifications turned on so that you get notified every time we make any brand new Pixar videos. So there's a multitude of factors pointing to 22 being Meilin. Let's have a look at some of the small ones first. We've got pizza. Pizza is a huge thing for 22. There's that hilarious scene where she's explaining to Joe how you can eat anything in the Great Before, and what does she use to demonstrate this? None other than pizza. Then, when she finally goes down to earth in Joe's body, she is obsessed with pizza. Also, we have music. When 22 goes down to earth and hears students from Joe's class playing music, she is inspired and intrigued by it. And there are these helpful throwaway lines in Turning Red that hint to Meilin relating to both of these. At the beginning, it says she's grade 8 in her instrument, and when she's lying to her parents about where she's going, she uses the excuse of eating pizza, suggesting she really likes it.
Ordering pizza. Save me leftovers.
But what are the main reasons for this? Well, we have to look at geography and where 22 is heading when she finally decides to go to Earth. When Joe lets go of 22 and she finally flies to Earth at the end, the film shows us what side of Earth she is heading to as the Earth beacon pulls her towards a certain place. Now, I'm no great geographer, I don't claim to be, so I used good old Google Earth to pinpoint exactly where 22 was heading at the end of the scene. Judging by these curved bits of land and sea, the Earth is currently showing the continent of Asia, which narrows it down a lot, as the curved bits represent the Middle East. The film then further zooms into the Earth along with 22, so I did the exact same thing on Google Earth, and due to the atmosphere it became harder to pinpoint exactly where in Asia 22 was heading to. However, on both Google Earth and the film, it shows some snow on mountains and 22 landing to the left of them, which places 22 around the Chinese region of Tibet. So from this, 22 is going to land somewhere in Asia, most likely near Tibet, which is fitting for her character as these regions are very spiritual places, which works for what 22 has been through in the Great Before. Since 22 could never get the final personality trait to go to Earth, she'd often go to the Lost Souls area where people on Earth came to when they meditated. And in this place, their soul literally left their body and came to the Great Before. Now this sounds very similar to Turning Red in many ways. The literal whole belief of the giant red panda was that the family's ancestor was blessed with a spirit on the night of the red moon, and it has gifted every woman for generations the power to turn into a giant red panda. However, it later became an inconvenience, so they began locking away their power. But when we see the family members locking their red panda spirits away, it literally flies out of their body in this spirit wood place, very similar to how the Lost Souls work. And even with this, the family still today remembers and focuses on the spirit and their ancestors' power every time there's a new red moon, which is very similar to 22's meditating time in the Lost Soul region. Not to mention, at the end of Soul, 22 becomes very depressed when she has a lack of purpose and ends up transforming into what is known as a lost soul. This is very similar to Meilin's personality when she gets stressed, and it's basically what the giant red panda represents. But just like 22, Meilin learns to overcome this and in the end ends up choosing the giant red panda as she understands the wonder and beauty it can bring her. Speaking of which, Meilin is a very outgoing person who is excited for the future and in awe of what becoming a woman is like. This is very similar to 22, who was in complete awe and wonder when they came down into Joe's body and learns to appreciate the world more, and is one of the reasons why they go down to Earth at the end. We don't find out what 22's last personality trait and purpose is that motivates them to go down to Earth, as their badge just changes to the Earth beacon, but we can suggest it has something to do with exploration and being in awe of others and the world around them, which relates to Meilin. Now, you might be saying none of this really matters, as the film is actually set in Toronto, Canada, and not China. However, Meilin's family is clearly from China and still does many Chinese traditions, which makes it possible that they've only recently moved to Canada. and it's just as likely Meilin was born in China and then later moved as a baby to Toronto. And if we're focusing on the timings of the films, well, we're still not 100% sure when Soul takes place. The only evidence that we really have hinting to a time period is Joe uses a modern day phone, and that's about it. However, we do know exactly when Turning Red takes place, as there are many moments such as calendars and dates to know it's taking place in May 2002. So Soul definitely takes place within a few decades of that, and even then, there's no confirmation of how time works in The Great Before. For all we know, since 22 has been stuck there for so long, she may have the opportunity to be anyone's soul from the generations before, the ones that she could have been if she had gone down before. And on a side note, this film came out in 2022 and is set in 2002, and the character is literally called 22. Like, if that's not confirmation, I don't know what is. At the end of the day, purpose is a big thing in Soul, as once a soul gets a spark, it is to do with what their purpose is. When 22 finally realizes what her purpose is and what her spark is, the lost soul barrier thing that's basically keeping her from leaving eventually decides to disintegrate because she's realized now what her purpose is and then decides to go to Earth. Now this is similar in Turning Red because Meilin spends her whole time trying to work out what her purpose is because she's too busy trying to please her mum and her friends and wants to become a proper woman but doesn't really know how to, and by the end, like 22, she realizes she needs to put herself first and stays with the red panda. But anyway guys, that's the end of this video. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, make sure that you smash that like button down below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Guys, let us know down below in the comments what do you think about this. Do you reckon that 22 from Soul might be Meilin from Turning Red? Do you like Turning Red? Personally, I really did. And if you want to find out who 22 could also be, who isn't Meilin but could be another Pixar character, then I will link down below some other videos that we've done covering on who 22 might actually be. But anyway guys, we've been here on Gate of Theories. Thanks for watching and I'll see you guys later.